Hey guys, I'm here today to read to you the second story in Bully Box. It's called Every Camp Has a Bully by Cat Woods. The iron and stone gate to Camp Crusoe shimmered in the headlights. It was the first man-made thing I'd seen in over an hour. Surrounded by pine trees taller than skyscrapers back home, Camp Crusoe would be my prison for the summer. My parents had a choice, reading camp or summer school. They picked reading camp. Not my choice at all. On top of that, I was late. When I walked into cabin 13, the other kids already had their bunks made up. The top two were taken. Only a bottom one remained. No way was I sleeping on the bottom bunk. I'd be the joke of camp for sure. I peered over the top bunk into the eyes of a kid half my size. Of course, everyone was smaller than my freakishly large frame, but I used that to my advantage. I had to. "Move it, Pipsqueak." The kid opened and shut his mouth like a goldfish out of water. I'd seen that look before. Either he was terrified or he was making fun of me. He balled up his fist and said, "I was here first." Obviously, not afraid. A kid like that would make fun of me all summer long, unless I put a stop to it first. "I don't care when you were here. This is my bunk. Get off and go somewhere else." He didn't move. He just stared at me with those gray eyes. 1, 2, 3, I counted, giving him another chance. He snarked off and said, "What are you, my mom?" I grabbed the edge of his mattress and shook him. "No, I'm your worst nightmare. Now move it before I move you." He jutted out his chin. "No." He gave me no choice. I grabbed his arm and pulled him across the mattress. Not hard, mind you, but he yelped anyway. Our camp counselor, Rob, banged on the wall. "Everything all right in there?" Rob's mattress spring squeaked. Footsteps followed. Everything happened in slow motion. My heart boxed at my ribs, bruising them. I couldn't get in trouble yet, not on the first day, but the kids just glared at me, refusing to move. Rob knocked on the door. Tap, tap, tap. I gritted my teeth and squeezed the kid's arm, trying to get him to move, because I could not, sleep on a bottom bunk. "Fine," the boy said. The door swung open, and Rob stepped in. "Hey guys, meet your new roomie, Ezekiel." Yeah, that was me, Ezekiel. My parents named me after some prophet dude from the Bible who had visions and stuff. His name, our name, even meant something about God making us strong. I was strong, all right. I could bench press other kids my age, and I had visions, lots of them, of needles poking into my arms, of hospital beds and recovery rooms, of getting teased constantly because I was a human Godzilla. Sure, I was strong physically, but I think God did that because he knew I had a weak heart. I unpacked my clothes and carefully hid my stuffed rabbit in my pillowcase where nobody could find it. When it was time for bed, I reached my hand between the flannel case and the pillow to stroke the satin of Bun Bun's ears. It was the only way I could sleep, and the reason I needed the top bunk. A bugle call warbled in my ear. I rolled over and toppled out of the bed onto Pipsqueak below. Kyle's eyes shot daggers into me as he pushed me aside. He hated me. I could see the disgust on his face. My bunkmates bolted from the cabin, leaving me alone. Welcome to reading camp, my friend. Can I just say things never got better? 2 weeks in, I wet the bed in the middle of the night, and the law of physics dictates that whatever is up must come down. Well, it leaked down on Kyle like a lukewarm shower. "Dear Mom, reading camp is way worse than summer school could ever have been. My cabin mates hate me, especially this kid named Kyle. Maybe you forgot how my medication makes me wet the bed. Kyle never will. I told you this would happen, but you didn't listen, and now he won't leave me alone. Your miserable son, Zeke." The only good thing about camp was Sienna. She had red hair and a red personality, as in, she was a fireball. She made things fun, and even though she liked Kyle, she didn't hate me. She was sick too. Sicker than me, as in, she might even die sick. Instead of working on our reading skills like the rest of the kids, Sienna and I worked on homework, trying to catch up to grade level, preparing for when the next medical emergency would keep us from school. But Sienna's nicest only made Kyle hate me more. He did everything in his power to make me miserable. He dumped orange pop on my mattress so ants would attack, dropped eggshells in my pancakes when we were on cooking duty, and booby-trapped the room whenever he had the chance. Finally, I left a dead mouse under his pillow to send a message. Dude, I'm done getting picked on. And his response? A maggoty fish pile in my laundry. No matter how many times I've washed my clothes, I still smell like moldy fish. Which is why I used Kyle's bed instead of my own during free time. When he was off swimming with his friends or playing kissy face with Sienna, I read alone. Alone in the quiet of the cabin with nobody to prank me. One day I was so absorbed in the book I found on his bed I didn't even hear anyone come in. That was until Pipsqueak started yelling at me in front of everyone. I'm so sick of you, Zeke. Something's wrong with you. You need serious help. You don't know anything about me. I threw his book at him to get him off my back. He didn't have a clue. Worse, he didn't even care. His mission at reading camp was to torment me. And when Bun Bun went missing, I knew Kyle was behind it. The morning after my rabbit disappeared, I cornered him. Where is it? Where's what? His lips sneered upwards. My stomach clenched like an iron fist was squeezing it. You know. I don't know, and I don't care. Told you I was right. I didn't need a prophet to know that every camp has a bully. The nights passed with me tossing and turning. I couldn't sleep without my stuffed rabbit. During the day, I hounded Kyle, trying to wear him down. What'd you do with my stuff, Pipsqueak? He shook me off like he was trying to get rid of a mosquito. For the 1,000th time, I have no idea what you're talking about. I couldn't take it anymore, and I leaned in close and choked on the words that would make me a laughingstock forever. My Bun Bun. Your what? At least he had the decency to answer back. My cheeks burned. I pulled him behind the canteen. My stuffed rabbit. He smirked. For just a second, he got those guppy lips again, like he was thinking up some amazingly mean thing to say, and then his face changed like he'd remembered he'd slept with a nightlight once upon a time. I didn't take it, Zeke. I didn't even know you had a stuffed animal. Like I would tell you. I looked across campus. Anything to keep from looking Kyle in the eyes. That's why I had to sleep on the top bunk. You could have asked. Yeah, right. I would have been laughed out of camp. I waited for him to deny it, but he couldn't. Instead, he asked, when did you lose it? The night it rained in. I felt you take it. He denied that, and I hadn't expected anything different, and I wasn't disappointed. He blamed the camp thief instead, the one who'd been snagging marbles and mirrors and combs and jewelry from other cabins. He even blamed it on the legendary Camp Crusoe ghost, as if that were possible. Then he finished with a whipped cream and cherry on top idea. I bet the Camp Crusoe thief is none other but a coon. I bet these woods are full of raccoon holes with little trinkets from this camp. It was stupid. What would a raccoon want with a stuffed rabbit? Just in case, though, I had to look. I grabbed Kyle's arm and begged him to help me. I can't go home without it. I can barely sleep. You have to help me look. Maybe he thought I was going to hurt him, or maybe he felt sorry for me. Whatever the reason, he agreed to help. We snuck out of cabin 13 when everyone was asleep. For 2 hours, we searched the tree for raccoon holes. That might sound easy, but raccoons are trickier, and finding a coon nest up in a tree is even trickier. We hadn't even found a hint of one yet. Thunder rumbled. Static sizzled in the air. A zag of lightning streaked across the sky. My eyes stung from the brightness, and for a moment I couldn't see a thing. But I could hear. Somewhere to my left, a branch snapped and Kyle screamed. Another jagged flash, and the outline of Kyle hanging from a broken limb shot into view. He looked so ridiculous I started to laugh. Don't stand there and laugh. Get me down, you idiot. The hairs on my scalp bristled. Whatever else I might be, I wasn't stupid. I gritted my teeth until they felt like they'd snap off. I threw the worst jab I could think of at him. At least I can read. What does that have to do with anything? Kyle's voice got all funky, and he sounded like he was ready to cry. Good. At least I wasn't the only one. If I pushed a little more, maybe I could get him to finally lay off. You think I'm here because I'm stupid. You think you can boss me around. Because you're awesome. Well, guess what? You're not awesome, because you can't even read. The branch cracked again, and Kyle dropped a foot before the branch caught. He hung by one hand. His voice pierced through the air. I never said you were stupid, but I know I am. Is that better? Is that what you want to hear? And it was. I'd won the summer-long fight. I had broken Kyle. I could walk away now and leave Kyle dangling. My troubles were over. Another bolt of lightning split the sky, and I knew I couldn't leave him hanging in the middle of a storm. I ran over and stood under the tree, stretching my hands up as far as I could. Kyle stepped onto them, and then onto my shoulders. He dropped to the ground, and the limb crashed down behind us. Kyle's voice came out all shaky. Thank God you're so tall. Yeah, thank God for my thyroid tumor, I mumbled as a clap of thunder nearly knocked us over. What's that? I pushed away, embarrassed. Nothing. He grabbed my arm. Are you sick? I was. That's what made me grow so fast. But not anymore? He was like a bulldog. Maybe I should be glad we weren't friends. His constant nagging would have driven me nuts. I had surgery. It's no big deal. Are you okay? Seriously, what did he want? More ammunition to start a fight? Fine. I threw the last grenade in his direction. Yeah, I'm fine, except my medicine makes me wet the bed. Oh, I didn't know that. Why would you? It's not like I advertise it. My size does that enough. Well, I'm glad I know. I waited for the pity that would make the last 2 weeks of reading camp even more miserable. Why? So you can feel sorry for me? No. So I could quit feeling sorry for myself. I have dyslexia. That's why I can't read. Kyle paused. I can't read. I can't spell. Forget taking tests. Even when I know the stuff, I get Fs. That's why I'm here. At least you're just big. I'm a big dummy. It took a minute for his confession to sink in. All along, I thought I was the only freak. If he felt the same way, maybe he didn't really mean to bully me. Maybe he was just protecting himself from his own embarrassing secret. I dropped my arm from his shoulder. You're a funny kid, Pipsqueak. A raindrop splattered on his face. I think we better get back to camp. It took everything I had to walk away from those trees. I hadn't slept without my rabbit since my surgery, and I couldn't imagine leaving camp without her. Not that I had much of a choice. She was missing, and I'd be going home soon, with or without her. Kyle stopped walking and waited for me to catch up. I won't tell anyone you sleep with a stuffed rabbit. I knew he was trying to make me feel better, but more than that, I thought maybe, just maybe, he was trying to be my friend. I tested the waters. I won't tell anyone you talk in your sleep. Do not, he said. Do too. Not too. Kyle punched me in the shoulder, soft like a friend probably does. What do I say? I almost murmured Sienna's name. Then I thought about how I would feel if he teased me about Bun Bun. I said instead, you don't want to know. Trust me. And he did, as strange as that seemed. I think he did. We ran back to cabin 13 and snuck in the front door, past Rob, to the bunk that started it all. Dear Mom, I might survive reading camp after all. Your son, Ezekiel. P.S. My friend Kyle and I figure out who the camp thief was. I'll tell you all about it when Bun Bun and I get home.